Welcome, welcome to Unleashed. Lev Parnas, Malcolm Nance, and yours truly. You know, it's funny. As we're sitting here waiting for this app to allow us to go live to notify each and every one of you, we're sitting there, we're talking about how crazy things are today. You think there's going to be enough for us to talk about? This is almost like I don't know where to start anymore. I don't know where to finish because every day it's like a fire hydrant being opened, and it's just a hose of chaos. From press conferences with the president of Turkey, Erdogan, to Pete Hegseth and the ridiculous comments and the actions that we believe he's going to take, to the looming government shutdown, to the potential indictment of James Comey and others. And we haven't even scratched the surface. Malcolm, no wonder you're hiding in your car.
I just want to be ready to get away.
Malcolm's always on the go, so they can't find him. Like they don't know where he's at.
They can't triangulate my position. No, despite what you said before we went on live, my wife has not kicked me out, and I am not living in my car. But it sort of feels like maybe that's an option. Maybe I should be on the road when I'm here in the United States just to keep moving. Look, we get 3 or 4 Watergates a week now. Scandals which would take down every president. I have not seen the Erdogan press conference, so you guys are going to have to backfill me. Was that today? I'm sure it was crazy as fuck.
It just finished a
Oh,
short while
Jesus.
ago.
I mean, he basically turned around to Erdogan.
It's not the by the way, it's not the communication, the conversation, though. Much of it is, again, recirculated and repeated. It doesn't matter if it's Erdogan, Zelensky. It doesn't matter if it's UK. It doesn't matter who it is, right? It's
the same.
The 2020 grievance about the election. It's all about, it's all about the shootings going on. It's
the best part. The way when he looked at Erdogan and said, "Oh, he knows about fixing elections better than anybody."
He knows that. He knows about it more than anybody.
He knows it better. Erdogan's sitting there like he's like, "Oh, he knows about fixing it better than anybody."
Called his ass out in public.
Hey, so before I want to jump into Lev. I do really want to talk about something that's exploding on the internet right now, and that is Pete Hegseth ordering hundreds of military officers to a Virginia meeting. What do you think that's about, Malcolm?
If I was a betting man, I'd say it was one of 2 things. One, it's where he is going to loyalty test all of these officers. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a list already where he was going to fire 50% of the flag officers in the U.S. Armed Forces. Let me tell you something. We are not the Army of World War II, okay, where one general can manage 20,000 soldiers or 2 generals. This is the largest war machine in the world, and you have to have authorities leading up there. This guy never went past the rank of colonel, major in the National Guard, not even the Army, right? The regular Army. So he has a chip on his shoulder against people who are higher rank above him. And I think what he's going to do is say this: we're going to bring the Army back down to the rank of colonel. Colonels don't have the statutory authority that has been put into laws to expend hundreds of billions of dollars. Many of these officers command very large forces. But I think he's also going to loyalty test them because I suspect he's going to hint.
Loyalty test.
I think he's going to hint that America's going to war in Venezuela, and it's going to be a solid, decisive war. And anybody who raises his head and goes, well, no, we're not going to do that, or, he's going to have all these people in one spot
and
where spies will be everywhere.
And not just Venezuela, Malcolm. I think the loyalty test is going to be also towards the United States and saying that we are at a war and that we have these movements, the Antifa movements, the drug, and seeing that loyalty test go farther than just Venezuela. I think that loyalty test, and I think you're 100% right. There's going to be a lot of heads cut, not only because he has a chip on the shoulder about authority, but also, as you know better than anybody, authority demands respect. People, 4-star general, 3-star people that have gotten to that position don't take shit from guys like Pete Hegseth.
No,
They don't take shit from Donald Trump. These are people that gave their whole life to our country and demand loyalty to what their position gives them. So the point of getting rid of them and putting people that are way below, that don't have that respect and don't demand that loyalty, that are willing to do whatever it takes because they're basically jumping 20 years ahead of themselves and getting, this bump, and are willing to do whatever it takes. And that's the scary part, what's really taking place. And not just in our, military, but that's what's happening at the DOJ right now. And we're going to get to
right.
that in a little bit with
We're
Comey.
going to get to that, but Lev,
Right.
before you
What do you think?
before you stop speaking, I actually want to I really want to dive into something which you are very intimate with and very much in the know. So right now, Russia hit Ukraine again with a whole series of attacks, putting millions of lives on hold throughout the country of Ukraine. But I listened to
Before you go into that,
Zelensky.
Michael, I just want to say, I'm just so you know that I'm hearing that Comey is going to get indicted today, literally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But so we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But I really want to jump on this because this is happening literally as we speak. And who better to have than Lev Parnas, and then actually Malcolm Nance, who you spent so much time in Ukraine. You
In
know,
the army.
and exactly. So Putin hits Ukraine.
Mhm.
Zelensky, after Trump expressing tremendous disappointment in Putin for not capitulating, not accepting what would have been, in anybody's opinion, a major win, right? Zelensky goes on television and he issues a stern warning to Russia that if they don't stop the war now, rest assured, you need to tell the Russian people that we're coming and that they need to actually hide. It was a truly
Wow.
ballsy and a very stern warning to somebody who so far has been the bully every single day for the last 3.5 years. I want to get your impression on what's going on there.
Absolutely. So first of all, I just literally before we went on, got off the phone with one of my sources, and part of the disappointment where the conflict between Trump and Putin happened, and again, it's not conflict. This is just Trump getting pissed at him. Was that he felt not that he makes him look like an idiot on everything he does, and not that he makes him look, but because of he felt he promised him to meet with Zelensky. And because he went back at it so quickly and made him look foolish, that because he even had Caroline Levitt come out and say Putin guaranteed that he's going to meet with Zelensky, and then they had that whole spectacle, and because Putin dragged that and went to China instead, that's where why you got sourpuss all over Donald Trump right now. But that doesn't mean that he's going to do anything, because all of this, like I said, Michael, is a distraction. And me and Malcolm spoke about this, because if Donald Trump really wanted to do something, he would not come out and say, I wish both sides well. He wouldn't come out and say, yeah, NATO should shoot, but it depends if we're going to support NATO or not. He would come out and say, listen, these are the sanctions we're putting on Russia. These are the sanctions or tariffs we're putting, secondary tariffs on these countries. This is the ammunition we are going to, they don't have to give, sell. to the Ukrainians. These are the Patriot missiles. These are the long-range missiles. That action speaks louder than word. That's why I always say
Right.
follow the actions and not the words. Yeah, he came out 180, CNN blew that, but at the end of the day, he wrote that Truth Social message, and at the end, he said it all. He said, "I wish them both good luck." Basically,
Wait. Something just dawned on me.
Yeah.
You and Malcolm are having conversations outside of your third party here?
Malcolm had we had a terrorist and
Terrorism 101 last night.
Terrorism
That was one of
101
my Substacks.
last night.
Holy shit. This is so to my Substack subscribers. To my Substack subscribers, imagine the disloyalty that's taking place here in front of each and every one of you. So let me ask you a question. Malcolm, what do you think happens? What do you think happens if Zelensky, who now obviously feels empowered, he has European nations going to provide them with more drones, more armaments, and so on. Let's say, hypothetically, they do exactly what Zelensky is saying. They actually start launching drones into Moscow, into Red Square, and they just start destroying shit.
Well,
what's Putin's response?
Well, what can his response be? It can't. Sorry, my do not disturb jumped up. What can the response be? I mean, what's he going to do? Invade Ukraine? Here's shoot thousands of missiles and deplete their inventory? He's got no option short of an atomic bomb. And he can't use an atomic bomb because if that happens, NATO will step in. They will no-fly zone that country. They will carry out the largest humanitarian rescue in history. And now Moscow has lost the war, right? Every resource will be given to Ukraine. I think Zelensky is planning to do to Russia what Russia has been trying to do every winter for the last 3 years, which is now Zelensky will say, well, now we've destroyed almost 40% of your oil industry. We're going to destroy as much of it as we can, but now we're going to start on your power plants.
Yeah, that's
and your
what I was going to say.
Hydroelectric heating plants.
Yeah, they're going to
And
start.
you're
They're
gonna
going to start going
freeze.
after the grid. Yeah,
Which is the same thing they did to Ukraine.
Yeah, and the whole key, the other thing you gotta understand is what Zelensky said, they're already doing. They're already striking deep inside of Moscow. They're already shutting down Sheremetyevo, which by putting drones inside over Red Square, that literally shuts down Moscow airport, all of the major airports. They're already targeting and have taken out over 30% of the oil. Literally, there's gas lines in the country that's called the gas station by the late John McCain. There's actually 3-4 hour lines standing to get oil. So the difference what in the message what Zelensky said was a little bit more than guys, and that's why because I've been speaking with guys inside of the administration. This was a more of a message, and they're going to go after the grid line. What he said to them was, your people are going to start to feel the effect. Now, what he means by that is they're already strategically during this whole war, Russia's been hitting schools, hitting apartment buildings, hitting hospitals, while Ukraine has strategically been hitting naval, military equipment, oil facilities, hitting their planes. Remember with spider web, whatever they, hitting all the drones. So
Right.
It was all strategic. Now they're saying that we're going to step it up. Your people are going to start feeling that there's a war, because Moscow doesn't feel that there's a war going on. Yes, the people that lose their loved ones, and yes, but as a country as a whole, life goes on. There's no rockets flying over every day. There's no alarms sounding over the air. People are not running into bunkers, and that's the message that he gave him, was that people better start planning.
You're 100% correct, because what happens when the populace starts getting inconvenienced, they're inconvenienced the fact that their sons, their husbands, right, are all at war right now, many of whom are not coming back. We've talked about this before, where Russia, there's so many dead soldiers, Russia sent mobile crematoriums to get rid of the bodies because they didn't want to bury them for obvious reasons. So now what Zelensky, and I'm with you 100%, is talking about, let's make life even harder, because it's always been hard for Russians. You've always heard about the stories of Russians standing on lines for toilet paper and shoes and food and so on. Well, what happens if there is no food in Moscow, which always has
Mhm.
been like the crown jewel of all of Russia? What happens if there is no food because the roadways have been blown up? What
Right.
happens when it's wintertime, and Lev, the winters in Russia get real fucking cold.
Oh, yeah.
What happens now when you have no heat? What happens when you have no electricity, or you only have like electricity for 2-3 hours a day? This is the part where people say, I fucking had enough.
Yeah.
I'm done with this full shit. All right. I don't give two flying shits about Ukraine. All right. We've allowed Putin to continue this stupid war that's taking our money that really should be going back into the country in order to wage this war that 3.5 years ago never should have happened. What's your take on this, Malcolm?
I think that what we're going to see, what we're going to see coming from Zelensky is, if he wants to go hardball, he has to do what we call demonstration attacks. And a demonstration attack is blow the fuck up out of Sheremetyevo Airport in Moscow. Right? Set it on fire, hit all the fuel tanks, the control tower, blast some of the maintenance terminals, destroy Aeroflot airliners. Now that's beyond the provocation. Kyiv Airport's been closed since, February 2022, 2022. But to destroy Moscow's key air terminal for civil transport, don't hit the passenger terminals, just let it burn. That will get everyone's attention. And that's a strategic decision he would have to make. He would have to say, well, it's a military infrastructure hub. We're going to knock down the air defense. There are air defense systems around the Kremlin on top. He could hit those. They're on top of skyscrapers. He can hit those, and then he could hit the Kremlin again. Now people are going to see it worldwide and say, hardball. And he has to do it, by the way, with only Ukrainian-built missiles. He can't do like Neptune, the extended range Neptune and drones.
Otherwise,
Can't
yeah.
use
Otherwise,
U.S. missiles.
And then the other thing where he has to be careful, Michael, is because the Russian mentality of the Russian people is a lot different than Americans, and the way we think, and that's why Putin also wouldn't mind the Ukrainians hitting some buildings and causing some, because it drives that anger, and where they the drive to maybe mobilize. So where I think what Malcolm's saying is 100% right, where Zelensky strategically has to make hit him, but don't hit the passengers, don't hit hit the infrastructures that will hit Putin where it hurts, and show the people, that demonstrate to the people that so they see the hurt, destroy their railways, destroy their so the people can't go to work, can't fly, can't do.
Power plants,
So they start hurting, but don't hit the don't start doing what Russia's doing by hitting the people, because then I think that falls into a little bit more of what Putin wants, to mobilize and more people and get that rah 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 of that, because remember, they control the media, they control all the in Russia, to be able to and again, Russia, when we say about it, remember, it's not Moscow. Moscow, that little town, is, yes, there's a lot of westernization there, where people don't believe won't. But we're talking about majority of Russia is still like the 1920s. They still don't have even the infrastructure with what we're used to here. It's like Middle America.
Yeah. And also, one point that you made is good. Just to demonstrate, even if you have to fly decoy drones, make air raid sirens sound all the time in Moscow.
Yeah,
Right? Make it feel like Kyiv.
great.
Just air raid sirens everywhere. Because it doesn't happen too often that the Ukrainians don't go down into central Moscow enough to where they fire off the air raid sirens. Do it like the Russians do. 2 a.m., and now people have to get into their shelters.
Yep.
Right. Interfere with their sleep, interfere with their daily work, interfere with their ability to get gas for their car, to get electricity when they turn the light switch on, or heat, or air conditioning, whatever, interfere with their life so that they turn around and they're like, we've now had enough. Make Putin feel uncomfortable in his own home if you can. I want to move on to a different topic again. Subscribers, let me be very clear. Every day, it's like a flood. It's like a floodgate being opened of chaos and misinformation, disinformation, and a word that Malcolm Nance actually taught me. It was not on my SAT exam. Malinformation.
Malinformation.
There's another shooting that took place the other day in Dallas. Some idiot, fucking asshole, no other way to describe him, decides to indiscriminately start shooting at an ICE facility, kills 2 detainees and injures 1.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, FBI comes out. The Talmud Chacham himself, the genius amongst geniuses, and I'm talking about Cash Patel.
Of course.
Cash, this way. Look at me this way, straight. All right? Cash Patel turns around and he puts out a photo of some of the bullets that we used, which says anti-ICE. Now, immediately, Cash Patel, surrogates, enablers, sycophants, you use the adjective to describe them. People in power, the highest levers of government.
Mm-hmm.
This is all the left. It's all the radical left lunatics. It's the Democrats. Didn't we just go through this about 10 days ago, right? With the killing of Charlie Kirk, where they immediately come out, they make these bold assertions, none of which turn out to be true. And all it does is cause more and more hatred, more divisiveness amongst the American people to one another.
Sure, but now it's a campaign. Now there is an actual policy talking point to say only the liberals do violence, which is insane. Their own Department of Justice study this year said 74% of domestic terrorism and violence is right-wing based. I wrote a whole book about it 3 years ago called "They Want to Kill Americans."
But Malcolm, it's not fair. It's not fair, Malcolm. Come on, let's be fair. It's not fair that you're writing the book. You're one of those left wing, lunatics, according to this administration, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, so is everybody who opposes them, right?
But you guys have to understand. I mean, what I'm seeing play out is it's really starting to scare me a little bit because I mean, the way. First of all, I don't believe in coincidences, and I don't believe that all of a sudden we're starting to see all of these high profile shootings. Charlie Kirk. Now we have ICE. The first thing on all of the bullets, there's anti-fascism. Which, right after that, Trump comes out and does the signs against Antifa, some sort of making them a terrorist organization. Now you see a shooting here, literally right after on the bullets, same pattern that we just saw with Charlie Kirk, but now instead of Antifa, it says anti-ICE, and now there's a whole push being pushed that the left is that I don't want to start any conspiracies, and but we need to look at this a little bit carefully. But like Malcolm just said, this is more than just a movement. I think. I mean, who knows who's funding all this and who are these people? The problem is we need a real investigation into these because we're not getting real investigation. They're not taking
a professional law enforcement organization,
right? Because one shooter is dead. We don't, and we don't know what to make of that. And now we're going to just hear a story that's going to come out. We have another shooter that is, God knows what's with him, but we have these text messages that are coming out that look like a love letter that was put together in a telenovela than real, what's it called? So, I mean, but the message and the movement that's being pushed, it doesn't matter. There's no evidence. It's all about the left. And it reminds me literally of what we did did when we did the Hunter Biden campaign, because it
Yep.
doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what happens. You have all the hierarchy right now, all the, again, Fox News, you got all the pundits on Fox, you got all the Kristi Noem, you got all of them, Tulsi Gabbard, everybody, all the leadership, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance is on Fox almost twice a day. You got, I mean, they're all on there nonstop on all the social media. They're on all the programs. Well, you see them nonstop talking about the left, the left, the left, and it can't get any louder. Meanwhile,
Yep.
on the left, you see nothing. You see bumbling fool. You guys see Chuck Schumer going on Morning Joe, falling over himself. Hakeem Jeffries is nowhere to be found. You got
Talking about the letter.
you got Newsom running around the campaign. I don't know what he's doing. He's going on Colbert. He's
By
not
the way,
picking
you
up
know
any
what
votes.
bothers me? I'm so glad you just brought something up, Lev. That's what I love about you. Whenever you say something, it sparks something that, you know, I wanted to speak to Gavin Newsom. I wanted to bring him up either here on Substack or on my
Oh,
Mea Culpa podcast. And
all
I
right.
was speaking to his people, right? This guy was in Brandon something. And it's now going on 6 weeks. 6 weeks. You know, with all due respect to this little shit, when I was sitting at the highest level of power in this country, in the world, I never not called anybody back. I never made them sit and grovel and so on. This little shit thinks he's something special. And the funny thing is, I still don't think Gavin Newsom is presidential material. I think
No,
there's
no,
too
he's
much.
done. He's done. He's done. He didn't just do it to you, Michael. He did it to Kamala Harris also. She wrote it in her book. She said she called him up for advice. He never called her back.
Yeah.
He didn't even do it to. How about this, Michael? You know, if we're gonna go that far, he is garbage, because I've reached out to him and I've had people that are some of his biggest donors. People that really reached out to him and said, Gavin, you need to sit down with Lev because he has some information for you that he just needs to share with you. You know what his people called me back and said? You need to speak to us because Gavin is too busy right now. He has podcasts lined up.
Mhm.
You know, it's so crazy.
So he's too
There
busy.
was
He's too
never
busy
a
just to
day.
take a phone call. I didn't even ask him, Michael. I didn't even ask him to go on the subs. I called him to give him some information that would be
Anybody
useful to
who
this
knows
idiot.
me from my days at Trump.org to my days up until the FBI raid will tell you I had two phones. They were going off all the time. I was
Mhm.
either texting or on the phone. I never, ever made people wait. And you know what? You can say whatever you want about Donald Trump. It's the one quality that he demands, even from idiots like Cash Patel, Hegsteth, or anybody else. He demands that you are responsive. In fact, as an example, when Trump and I would go, let's say, downstairs for lunch, right? And we were coming back up, you're basically talking about in his own building, it's getting from the table up the escalator and to the elevator bank. 35, 40 minutes it would take. People would come, they would surround him, ask him for an autograph, a selfie. He never said no to anyone. And people don't forget that shit. And when you're fucking Gavin Newsom, who people are saying, oh, he could be the next face of the Democratic Party. Fuck you, Gavin. I hope you're watching this on YouTube, Brandon, you little shit, because let me be very clear. Your whole attitude is wrong. You have the same fucked up, flawed attitude that too many of the Democrats have, including Joe Biden and his people, including Kamala Harris and her people. You know, you can't be a paper, a paper, whatever the hell you want to call it, and expect people to revere you, to appreciate you when you don't give them the time of day. And with all due respect, I sat, like I said, at levers, above Brandon, above Gavin Newsom. And the fact that they don't call, because I had info that I wanted to give him as well. Do you think that they would turn around and say, maybe Michael Cohen has something to say?
Mhm.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, who is it? Joe Walsh put it very well a few weeks ago on a podcast where he goes, I'm in the Democratic Party now. The Democratic Party has to be big enough and Big Ten enough to take Never Trump conservatives and a wide range from Never Trump conservatives to Mamdani, but you need to speak to them. And what we see is, you see people have now siloed people, to speak, whether in the Harris campaign, which inherited it from the Biden campaign, which is I will only speak to these Democratic people. And then I have to maintain the norms of the party. The next Democrat that's going to be president is going to better be fucking reincarnation of FDR. And he must destroy the norms of the party and say, I look, like FDR said when he said, I look forward to the attacks that, the super rich are going to do against me. I come from that class. I don't see it. I see people who are like, oh, I only can talk to this guy in South Carolina. I can only talk to that person
You know what it reminds
in
me of?
Virginia.
Did you ever see the movie American Gangster with Denzel Washington?
Yes.
Okay, nobody talked to me.
Classic.
You talk to Huey. Huey talks to me. Right? This is what it's about.
Right.
These fucking idiots think that they're a bunch of political gangsters. You don't talk to me. You talk to Huey. And Huey, you talk to me. No.
They believe more in the machine than they do the people they represent.
And that's the problem. So, Lev, I want to talk to you. I want you to give us your take, because I know you watched with bated breath that whole UN speech by Trump the other day. And here's what is being lit up on the internet, lit up. That Trump was inaccurate about a wide variety of subjects. They included inflation in the United States,
inaccurate,
climate policies in the U.S. and abroad, immigration, his role in settling international conflicts, and his standing in opinion polls. Which one of those do you want to tackle?
I'll tell you which one. I want to tackle that Trump literally came out today and said he wants the person that messed up the escalator to be arrested. He wants that person. There's a maintenance guy sitting in the UN right now, shitting bricks right now because
wasn't the UN staff. It was Trump staff.
No, but seriously, he came out there. He put out a post today. This is with all this shit, Michael. Just think about it, with all this with wars going on, with him coming in there telling the UN countries that they're going to hell, that he knows better than all of them, that he's the best, that he's right about everything, that blah blah by making embarrassing our other presidents, talking about how global warming is all a hoax, just like the Epstein files are a hoax to him, with all of that going on, the biggest news that right now all over Fox, all over social media is that that there was a conspiracy to not that and the way Donald Trump put it, I'm going to paraphrase. He said, not one, not two, but three incidents to try to sabotage the president of the United States. And the UN has opened up an investigation to look into. So now let's break those three things down. First of all, the escalator. He is now complaining, saying that the first lady and him could have fell face first into the sharp parts and destroyed themselves. So then they go out, and then they say they found. So the right found a post in London or somewhere where somebody posted something saying that why don't we turn off the escalators or something about. And now they're trying to say, aha, see, they were trying to turn off the escalator, but it gets even interesting.
Escalator gate.
Then he goes in and says, can you believe, he goes, they shut off my teleprompter? This is the guy that was blaming, saying that he doesn't need a teleprompter, everybody else. But the funny part, it was his party. It was his people that were in charge of the teleprompter, not even the UN. And then now he's complaining also is that the volume in the auditorium was lower when he was speaking compared to when all the other leaders were speaking. So he's now opened up an investigation to sabotage, folks. Not about that we have, people dying every day in Gaza, people dying in Ukraine. We have, a war that's about to start in Venezuela. We have
Americans are
Iraq.
dying every single day from mass gun violence.
Yeah.
United States alone, yeah. Just look at what's going on here in the United States, and the breaking news and the biggest thing is that they try to take, because it's the mentality of a dictator, folks. This is where we're at.
Okay.
This is what is. I mean, because it's how dare. It's like, just think about Kim Jong Un when he was in China. There was pictures of after he got up, somebody came up and wiped off the seats. So there's not even, that's dictator. That's when you go to different levels. Like, it's like, when you walk, people have to wipe, the floor in front of you.
No,
You
they
don't
throw
say
rose
because-
petals.
Right, roast up. Just and just like Donald Trump, just think about what the other part that he spoke about in the speech, where he literally opened the eyes, Michael, and you would appreciate, because me and you know him well, and you saw the grievance and the anger in his face. Well, it was his turn. It took him maybe 20, 30 years of revenge, but he gave it to the UN. Why? Because he bit on that job to build the UN. And he
Yeah,
promised
he
them
said it. He
marble
admitted it.
floors. He promised them mahogany wood. He promised them the best, and they turned him down
And
and
he's like,
went with somebody else.
All right.
And
you're
then they
not
said, you're
walking
still
on marble,
walking
you're
on.
walking on travertine.
Yeah,
That's what
right.
he said.
By the way, I hate travertine.
This is what you walk in the United, talk to the people.
I hate travertine. I would have gone with Trump. I would have gone with the marble and the mahogany wood versus travertine and plastic. But Malcolm, this is
Yeah.
something that's up your alley.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So here comes a quote from that UN speech. President claimed, and I quote, "I ended 7 wars, and in all cases, they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed." Let's stop laughing. This includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan.
Oh, finally, he got that one right. No more
Okay.
Albania. No more Albania.
Azerbaijan and Albania. Well, first off, a couple of them I know. There was no war between Egypt and Ethiopia. It was an exchange of words that was being carried out diplomatically and by news. I was in Egypt last year when it happened. It was because Ethiopia had built the Great Nile Dam, which was going to lower the level of water flow into Egypt from the south. And when I was in Abu Simbel, which is in southern Egypt, which is right there on Lake Nasser, a false lake that they built in the 60s, you could see it. Water was 6 feet below where it used to be. And they said this lake could empty in 2 years, which means the entire Nile River Valley could go under. The Egyptians made noise like, we're going to go to war over this. We could go to war over this. But Trump didn't do anything. All of these negotiations started under Biden. And then Marco Rubio and them came in and what, had a phone call? That threat is still there. He makes shit up.
I mean, there was
no-
no war. There was no war between Serbia and Kosovo.
Kosovo.
They
Wait,
weren't in
war?
an actual
There
war.
was-
In
there was-
fact, if I'm not mistaken, in 2020, the Trump administration was actually assistive in brokering an economic normalization agreement.
And there's no war between Israel and Iran. It was Trump allowed Israel to attack Iran, and then he stopped.
He let that war happen.
He let
The U.S.-Iran war was one day.
Right. It wasn't. He said, hey, Bibi, you strike, I'll stop it. War ended. Same thing with Pakistan and India. I mean, it was like a one-day thing where they. I mean, and India still says he has nothing to do with it. That's why he's putting tariffs on them.
The man is, well, you all know him. He's a flaming narcissist. And all of this goes into, and I wrote about this in 2018, that this guy was torn up over Obama's Nobel Peace Prize. And he feels that that's the highest level of recognition on earth is to receive a Nobel Prize. And this year he actually said it out of his own mouth. His sons were going on and on about it. They all believe this fake history that he is a peacemaker, but he's already extrajudicially killed maybe 24 people on small boats in the Caribbean that no one knows what they were or who they were. Extrajudicially executed them, and he thinks everyone will recognize my greatness and they'll give me a Nobel Prize while I'm killing all the little people around the Middle East and South America.
And I'm
He's
telling
delusional.
I'm letting Gaza get destroyed because I want to build a Riviera over there, and I'm letting Ukraine get destroyed because I won't sanction Putin. And by the way, I'm doing, and the crazy part, guys, what I'm hearing, you're gonna flip out this way. That now inside of MAGA, they're talking because they are starting to realize he's probably not going to get the Nobel Peace Prize. They're talking. There's a major
Hold on,
push.
guys.
There's a
Ballistic
major
missiles have just been launched at Israel, just to let you know how real time his war is.
This
You
is
know,
exactly the war.
Into Israel from Gaza.
Yemen. Yeah, Yemen. No, it's ballistic missiles.
Yeah, this is the war supposedly he stopped. But now there's going to be a major push. Get ready for this one, to put his face on Mount Rushmore.
What are you talking about? They're also talking about putting Charlie Kirk's face on coins.
Yeah. Oh, well, that, by the way, that you owe me and Jojo dinner because we told you that was going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. That's not. No. That wasn't the bet.
Me and Jojo told you.
That, by the way, that wasn't even the bet. But okay. Meanwhile,
well,
I want to talk while we're waiting for this breaking news to happen. I want to talk to you guys both for a second about something. Obviously, I know a lot about. That's the First Amendment. Where we're seeing right now, obviously, ABC, Disney, they folded not to government pressure, not to Brendan Carr, the FCC chair's pressure. They folded to our pressure, the pressure of the American population who turned around and literally started to boycott ABC, Disney. They canceled their subscriptions to ABC, Disney, to Hulu, to ESPN. And I say that you still have to do it, by the way. You still have no choice but to do it.
Yep.
They end up putting Jimmy Kimmel back. And not only did it, of course, increase his ratings by like 20-fold, we have other First Amendment concerns as well. Now, I don't know if you heard about this, but there was a statue that was put up in the national park, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
In the mall. It was Donald Trump holding Jeffrey Epstein's hands like two school kids up, happy to see each other.
In love. Yeah.
It bothered him. He ended up having his people reach out to the National Park Service, and they immediately removed this statue. Now, mind you, where I have a concern, I get it. It certainly was not flattering. I wouldn't want to be associated to Jeffrey Epstein either, but the artist and the group that put it there did everything correctly. They got permits for it.
It was too tall, they said. Theirs is 9 feet 3 inches in maximum height, and the display had to be 6 feet 3 inches.
I wish we had video camera of coverage of when Trump, because I got the call. I was told this is during the UN when he was going through all of his meetings. He found out first about Epstein, and then he found out about Jimmy Kimmel going back. He flipped his shit. He flipped his shit. This was going on during the year. He said that better not be there before. They started trying to explain to him that it was. He said that should better be gone before I get to the White House. I think they took it out Sunday morning or something, like in the morning, like the next morning.
Yeah, I saw the video of them knocking it over.
They did, but
it was plastic. It was made out of plastic, by the way.
But this brings up, once again, forgetting about the issue of the statues and what it depicted, and that Trump didn't like it. They did everything right. They got permits. They installed it as they were supposed to. And I consider it to be, as do many, a First Amendment violation. Just because you
Mhm.
don't like what somebody says, just because you don't like somebody's artwork or somebody's statue and so on, doesn't mean that you should use the powers of government within which to have it removed. It's exactly
Mhm.
what they were doing to Jimmy Kimmel. It's exactly what happened to me when I was unconstitutionally remanded because I wanted to publish my first book, Disloyal, and to
Right.
talk about it in the media. And this is a concern that every single one of you needs to have in the back of your mind. It's why Lev and Malcolm and we constantly say, help us. Cannot do this alone. And if you think
Yeah.
we can, you're wrong. Because like right now, what do we have? Like close to 1,500 people or something in
Yeah.
the room with us right now.
Mhm.
Is that really enough? Is that enough by a
Yep.
long stretch? It is not.
When Laura
It's not
Lugo goes
even
on, she has
close.
300,000. When Alex Jones goes on, he has 1 million, 500,000. I mean, they do Charlie Kirk's summit. They had over 6 million. I mean, just think about the numbers we're fighting, folks. So when Michael comes out here and says, "Hit that," but I mean, we're pleading with you because the information that you're hearing here, I guarantee you, if you take this and you compare it to anything else out there, it will be more information, and it'll probably be the information that everybody else is then talking about after listening to us and then going spreading about. So when he tells you we need to spread this and we need to make sure it's a plea. It's a plea for our humanity. It's a plea to save our democracy, folks. This is extremely important. It is no longer a game. We are no longer if we're in a constitutional crisis. It's no longer if we're in a fascism war. It's not. We are in it. We are living it. We are losing our rights every day. Just think about, like Michael said, the Jimmy Kimmel thing.
Mhm.
The whole right wing ran on saying that he's bad. He got canceled because of ratings. He got canceled. The ABC could do what they want, and Trump couldn't even handle it. He couldn't handle it. He couldn't keep it in his pants. He came out and said, "You told me that you were going to fire him, and now I'm going to sue you." I mean, just
Right.
think about, the same way he came out and told Pam Bondi to go after Comey. And by the way, I'm hearing, by the way, guys, that Comey's not the only one that's going to be indicted. There's going to be another indictment coming.
John Bolton probably within the next 4 to 5 days. I heard that too from my
And
source.
he's pushing hard on Schiff also.
And
Pushing hard on
Adam Schiff
Adam
and
Schiff.
also Tish James.
There's James. Yeah. And think about
Discovery is going
I
to be
want, but
amazing.
but forget about this.
I,
Forget about that for a second. I just want everybody to sit there for a second and think about it. And I just wrote in my Substack before we did this. If he could go out there right now and go arrest the sitting U.S. Attorney General of New York, the ex-FBI director, a sitting senator, because he does not not because there's some major crimes that were committed, breaking news, they got caught. No, because of a revenge. Just think about that, how they're rushing. The fact that they're rushing to indict him because the statute of limitations is running out on Tuesday, folks.
question.
Yeah.
This. So when they indict them, does that mean public arrest, perp walk, all that?
No,
Honestly,
no. Not yet. Not as of yet. Right. So after they indict them, then they do have to come in for fingerprinting and so on and so forth.
That's
There is
Michael, but that's if they want to be nice. They don't have to. They could arrest them once they're indicted. They have the choice. And that's 100%. They have the choice either to go pick them up, arrest them, and bring them in and go through the process, or they could call them up and have them come in and turn themselves in. That's totally up to the FBI and the DOJ. Totally.
Is
So
there a possibility? Just hear me out, guys. Is there a possibility that we have a state rebellion over this? To I don't know if Kathy
don't think
Hochul's
so.
the kind of person who wouldn't
I
do
don't
it,
think
but to say, hey, I'm sorry, we don't recognize the power of this indictment.
see, the problem is Comey's not that liked. I think that
Not Comey, I'm
maybe
talking Tish James.
Tish
She's an
James,
armed
Tish
law
James,
enforcement officer herself.
Tish James. I mean, Listen, if we don't, we talk about this all the time. I don't know what it would take for the country to say enough is enough, guys. Because I mean, every day, just think about all the shit we talk about every day. From our people getting dragged off the streets to the tariffs, to the wars, to the constant lies, the manipulation. And we say if he does this one more time, he does. I mean, just think about the world we're living in where the president of the United States, I know this might be a little corny and it might be, but he just put up a wall of fame in his office and he put a picture of every president except for Joe Biden. He put a picture of the Autobahn. Just think about how, like, where we have gone. I mean, this is the White House, folks. This is not some.
So I wanna do a tiny bit of a pushback here on what you're
Okay.
saying in regard to obviously the indictment, just so that we get it all straight here. The indictment, it just means that the grand jury says that there's a case that can go forward. He doesn't get in, he doesn't get swabbed. It's not a conviction. There's no guilt there. It's just the beginning of the case.
No, but they have to be arrested, right?
No. They don't get arrested. They do sometimes ask them to come down, and there's some things that they ask them to do. We don't know what's going to happen here in this
Bro,
specific one.
I go on a lot of gun shooting forums, and perp walk is all they want out there.
Exactly.
They want to see people frog march.
Michael, think about what they did to Comey when he just the fact that, remember when he wrote did that post with the seashells? They had Secret Service come to his house and drive him, put him in the Secret Service car and drive him to the office to give a statement. I'm with Malcolm. I think they once they get an indictment, I think they try to embarrass him.
Well, you can't perp walk him because there is no conviction. That's the point I'm making. So
no, I mean that rest. I'm saying.
So let me just do this for a quick second because I want people to understand. And Lev, you know this as well as I because we were there on the inside. You're talking about Comey. We're talking about Tish James. We're talking about Bolton. We're talking about Adam Schiff. We're talking about Alvin Bragg, maybe Miles Taylor. There's a whole slew of people that are on that list. Okay. What if, let's just start with Comey. What if hypothetically there is enough evidence to turn around and to show that Comey perpetuated the Russia hoax or did acts? Even if under normal circumstances, under normal governments, never would this take place. There would never be an indictment. There would never be this investigation. It's just.
But that's not what they're indicting them for.
The point is, it is still a violation, and I know because they did it to me. What if I say that there will be still enough people in this country that will say, "Fuck Comey, he deserved it." You know what? The proof is right there. It's documented. The proof is in the pudding. He actually perpetuated the Russia hoax in order to damage Trump's first presidential term.
But that's not what they're indicting them for, right?
Again, is what Trump does is he takes a small piece, but he makes it into the big piece.
Right.
No,
they didn't indict him for Trump for the Russia hoax.
For what you did, Michael, for lying in Congress. That's what they're trying to nail him on.
Right.
But it's worse than that, guys. And what they're doing this. I mean, this is Michael. What you just were talking about, where you stopped, where you should have kept going is they're not going to stop at Miles Taylor or at Shifty Shift. Where they're going to go after, and what this is being done to is to right now send a message to people like us, to the independent journalists, to the whistleblowers, to that list of retribution that they have, where you, me, people like that are on that list that are still out there speaking truth to power, that are continuously out there trying to give what they're doing. So that is part of the big plan, is to go after the big names first, install fear, try to shut everybody up, to show you if we could go after them, wait to see what we could do to you. And then the few that will still stand up like us that are out there trying to save the democracy. And if we don't build a platform big enough to stand together by that time, they'll just eat us up alive also. And that is why it's essential now more than ever to build this platform. Make sure to go out there, press that little gray button on top, subscribe to all three of us. Subscribing is free. And for those of you
Yep.
that can become paid subscribers to help us with this movement, to keep us pushing alive, that believe me when I tell you, you don't know how much it means to each and every single one of us.
Yep.
You know, one of the things
Definitely.
that I also wrote is that there's still so much that's left to do, and we just can't shoulder it without you. I don't know why people. It's almost like they want to be involved, but they want to be involved from the couch. It doesn't work that way. We need your help. We must grow. We must grow this community, and we don't have a lot of time. I mean, I can't imagine how hard must it possibly be to find your next door neighbor. You're talking, it's easy, you bump into a friend, you're having coffee. Hey, by the way, you on Substack? Oh no, you got to listen to Lev, Malcolm, and Michael.
But
join the community.
You know what I don't understand, and maybe you guys could tell me. And again, I'm not picking Acosta. I'm just using him as an example. But if right now Jim Acosta would put out and say that on his show he has Michael, Lev, and Malcolm, and to interview, he'll have 10,000 people watching that show.
Sure, more.
More than 10,000.
He'd have 4,000 and change.
I'm just saying, well, he has 4,000 on a regular day, but if he had all three of us, I think he'd have a lot more. But even the 4,000 on a regular day.
Well, where are those people?
The point I'm trying to make is he's a reporter. He's out there bringing people to give their opinions and pundits, which is great, and you should support independent journalism. But what I don't understand is you got three people sitting here that are giving insight from as deep as you could go. Went to prison for this guy. Michael spent over 10 years by his side. I spent 4 years after his
Lev,
side.
I spent 13 months in
sorry.
prison. I spent
13 months.
I spent 13 months in prison. I spent 23 months trapped in home confinement. I spent 36 months chained to supervised release. I spent 51 endless days locked in solitary confinement. You think I know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So
well,
that's the question.
This harks to, and this will be my last word, this harks to that issue we bring up every episode. Where exactly are those liberal billionaires I keep hearing about, right? They gave freaking Charlie Kirk some insane amount of money, $50 million to create Turning Point. He, in his early 20s, they gave Ben Shapiro in total $60 million to create his thing. We don't have that.
And that's why they created it, Malcolm.
Here's a project that I want to do that we've talked about several times, which is create, a Restore American Democracy project book, just like Project 2025, where we go out and we find all the experts and we say what we're going to do when we have the opportunity to restore America back. One of the ones that I would do is hire every government worker who was fired. I give you the opportunity to come back to your job and receive 4 years back pay, right? But these are great ideas, right? To put everything back to normal and to call out the people that did what they did and have a presidential crimes commission. But we don't even have somebody that will, many of these liberal rich people are really so much about the money. They don't even fund, nonprofits that feed kids. They fund only in election year, only the Democratic mainstream candidate.
You're right.
And we're screwed.
Yep, that's it.
Well, Lev, take us out, pal.
Folks, we say it day in and day out. I mean, we're here not because we want clicks, not because this is a business that we're trying to put together. We're here because each and every one of us from either serving time, being serving our country, being next to Donald Trump, knowing what's going on, are trying to get you the information. We don't have paywalls. We're not out there trying to make money off of this. We're trying to save our country. We're trying to do something right. We're trying to make sure our voices are heard. And the only way we could do it is by building a community, by having you be an extension of our voice, being our megaphones and going out there, spreading the message far and wide, calling your Congress people, telling them what to do, what you heard here. Most importantly, we're going to post this afterwards. Each and every one of you need to take this message video live, the recording that we've done today, and spread it far. Spread it to as many as.
Yep, you got to send it to as many people as you possibly can. And
Yeah.
Lev, I'm sure, will continue to say that once, of course, his internet comes back. Anyway, let me just say, on behalf of Lev, Malcolm, myself, we thank you. This is really tough. It's tougher than anybody can possibly imagine, but we fight on because we don't have a choice. Malcolm, Lev, I know you're still watching. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here with us. We will see you again on Unleashed next week, unless we end up doing more during the week. So thank you. Appreciate you again. Subscribe to me, to Malcolm, to Lev by hitting that button at the very top left. And to those, again, who can become paid subscribers, please do. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And we will see you all next week.
Bye-bye.